Hello, I'm Eric Houston, and welcome to In Focus. This month, we're going to do something a little different and focus in on a producer who has been a longtime volunteer here at North Metro TV, but is in the midst of completing his first solo project. Rick Bostrom recently wrapped production on another of his terrific Blaine High School concert videos, and has once again turned his focus back to Exploring Aviation, a brand new series combining looks at planes, pilots, and every other aspect of local amateur aviation with the passion, enthusiasm, and production talent that only Rick can provide. Rick has also been a longtime crew member of our series Art Beat, which we're going to take a look at right now.
I open up my sleepy eyes and see the morning just the way that it should be. By the setting of the midnight moon, the rising of the sun, and the feeling like I've only just begun. The morning mist still lies upon the ground, and it comes and goes but doesn't make a sound. And the heavy of the midnight air lightens with the day. There's a Minnesota morning all the way. There's a Minnesota morning on my mind, and it's precious as the fruit on the vine. But I haven't seen a day like this since I've been away. Minnesota, I am here, I'm going to stay.
Rick, thank you for joining us on In Focus.
Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely, it's always a pleasure, Rick.
And a pleasure for me.
Thank you. It's always good to have you around the studio.
Thank you.
You've been coming here for a while.
Yes, I have.
Rick, how did you get started coming here?
Well, it really started with a call at our church to do some video recording of the service. They, Kingswood Church uses the equipment here, or used to use equipment here, and airs their show. Right. And so I noticed that they also offered the free classes. So I figured, you know, I'm not just going to do just the recording that they need. I'll also take the free classes and learn what I can about the equipment, and one thing led to another. Yeah. So I was at one of the event banquets that they had, and Damien, who's the outreach coordinator here, kind of introduced me to Linda Davis, who does Art Beat, and that's how I got started with her. Okay, now let's slow up just a little bit. I'm jumping to the next question, huh?
Yeah, you're way down my list of questions,
okay.
Rick. So going back, let's jump back to Kingswood for a second.
Sure.
So when you're working there with Cindy Hardy, produces Kingswood Church every week.
Right.
Pastor Al kind of co-produces, is kind of the star.
He's crazy.
He's crazy.
He does great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like what? Like what?
Well, he'll do. He did a deal. It's Easter time or whatever, and he did a thing with the Easter bunny dancing around, just basically to show that. That religion is not afraid of, Christ is not afraid of the Easter Bunny or Santa. And so he embraces all of the traditions and stuff like that. And he'll make use of the green screen here and all those kinds of things to have a lot of fun with it.
And they do a lot of skits and
quite a few clips from movies and whatever can kind of keep people interested. And so he's very creative that way.
Now, did you help out with that stuff at all, or just the taping the services?
Just pretty much taping the services. I did help out when Cindy was on vacation doing a little bit of the editing, but she's run wild with it in terms of being able to do music videos and all the rest of it. They have a great time. Yeah.
So you did that. You did that probably for a couple of years, really, and then like you said, you met Linda at one of our awards ceremonies. And started working on Art Beat.
Yeah, Damien kind of introduced us, and we just sat down next to each other at a table, and she talked to me about her interests. I'm an artist too. I mean, an amateur artist. I paint in oils, and I like to do nature scenes and tall ships, that kind of thing.
You know, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's great. I should bring in some work, or at least
you should.
show
I'd love
it.
to see it.
That was kind of part of how Linda and I got started talking. Is the idea that we could focus on, local artists and show their work and kind of get some things going in terms of showing all the stuff that's done up here in the North Metro, because there's an awful lot of phenomenal artists up here, really, that should be shown. So.
And you've been working, and so now you've been working on that for a couple of years. And what kind of stuff have you done? Like, what has been your favorite experience with Heartbeat so far?
Well, I think the initial shows that we did, you know, because it was new to all of us. We were new to the game, and Linda had lined up some terrific talent. There were a couple of music programs, really. We had a group, Coda, and then another group, Jeff and Andy Brooks, who came in, and they were vastly different styles. The Coda group is, you know, heavy saxophone and jazz type of thing, and Jeff Brooks is, you know, more country or folk type of music, and we were all new to it, and the excitement of it all, I just really enjoyed doing that. So. And
those first couple, those were in the studio.
Yeah. And
since then, you guys have branched out. You go everywhere.
Yeah, we do go to a lot of places. The others that are involved in the group, we've gone to the California building and some other locations, but I really enjoy the studio shoots more than anything.
Really?
Yeah, Mark and I were talking about that earlier, that he enjoys the on-location work quite a bit, and I enjoy the studio.
What is it about the studio you like so much?
You know, the equipment that we have access to here is really first rate. I just love using all the equipment and having the environment that we can set up and do some control over. One of the things that you wind up with, which is good to learn about, but one of the things you wind up with on location is things like audio issues. Maybe you didn't bring a windscreen for the microphone, or the sun is directly in your lens and you can't do much about it. Here we've got some controls on things and can you know, do a better shoot.
Yeah, that is really the big advantage of the studio, is that you can control every element of it, and it leaves so much less to chance.
Right.
And that's why we do this show here.
Yeah. As opposed to in my house.
As opposed to in your house, down at the restaurant.
Yeah, there you go.
Anywhere. So now, like, what has been, do you think, like the biggest learning moment for you working on Heartbeat?
Well, probably the biggest and the hardest learning moments have been in the editing piece. There's so much you can do. The studio work goes great, and time just seems to fly with that. I find that with editing at times, where I'll look down and 3 hours are gone, and you're kicking me out of the edit suite because it's time to go.
I gotta go home.
Yeah, right. So fair enough, but. You know, the time goes by quick, but I learned quite a bit on the editing, and there's so much more to learn, you know.
No, I mean, I can see, you know, the vast, not that you were ever, you know, not good at it, but just, you know, the vast improvement. You know, when you started, you know, you had a lot of promise, and you were real good, and, you know, now this quantum leap forward where you really know how to use the program. I mean, really, I know that you're going to be modest about it, but, you know, especially in your group, you're the one who knows how the program works better than just about anybody.
Well, you know, the group working together really helps to train everybody too, and I think that's good, but you know, like you say, I learned that, but I guess what I see each time is that there's just so much more that I don't know. And so having access to the professionals like you and the rest of the team here, you know, to work with, go out on shoots with TJ and some of the others, that just helps us all to grow.
Well, and you know, that's the thing I think I admire about you the most, Rick, is that you're always hungry to learn. You're always looking for learning opportunities. You're always asking me what can you learn now, or looking for new experiences or things to try. You take just about any of the classes I offer here just to get a little bit more.
You'd think I'd have something to do. I'm just kidding.
But I know one of the classes you take, I've only done it the one time so far. I need to do it again, but you did our intermediate video class a while ago.
Very good class.
Yeah. So tell me about some of the stuff that you did in that class.
We got to do an awful lot more of the intermediate production. We got to do an awful lot more of our own things. You gave us, you know, some very wide boundaries for assignments, and we would come back with a variety of different things that we'd done with the assignments you'd given us. And when I started, I wasn't sure whether I was going to get permission to do a couple of them, so I was fortunate enough to be able to do a taping at the karate studio, the professional karate studio here in Blaine. And then down at the airport as well, and I could show both of them. But I think that led my other classmates to believe that you better step up, because
well, you're
some of them on their next shots, they spent like 8 hours doing the taping and all the rest of it. So, but you can see that you can. We just had a blast with it. I mean, we really did.
And you guys did some great stuff. It was an opportunity to kind of expand beyond sort of the documentary focus that we do a lot here, which is always great, and do some fiction pieces. And the two you were talking about is, the first time it was to tell a story in just 5 shots, and you only had to do 1. You of course came back with 2. And why don't we stop for a second and take a look at those 2 5-shot experiments? Would you mind?
No, that's good.
Yeah, let's take a look at those. I think those were great.
Well, thanks. I enjoyed doing them.
Good. I'm glad. And that first one at the karate studio. Now that's your daughter.
Yes.
That's the star of that, right?
Yeah, my daughter and a friend of hers. I actually wound up taking both of the kids through quite a bit of training at Professional Karate Studio. That was an awful lot of fun. We did that for years. Didn't quite make it to black belt, but we were very close and have great memories from working with them.
And that's another thing that that again impresses me about you and what you do here, is that you've really it's really a family affair for the Bostroms. I mean, your daughter was involved in that, but your son Josh helps out with Art Beat a lot, and he started working on his own projects.
Yeah, he does. He's working on a project right now for Scouts. He's working toward getting his Eagle Scout. Yeah. And so that's something that he enjoys as well. Yeah.
And describe what that's like to me. Like, how does it feel to be able to work with your son on this kind of stuff and share that with him?
Well, it's pretty cool. I mean, actually, both of my kids are very good kids in terms of working with them on that. And we talked a little bit beforehand to just say that we're going to have some different roles now, not just father-daughter and father-son. It's director and camera person, and it really levels the playing field for them.
Yeah.
because they get to deal with me on an adult level, and
Yeah.
they just stepped right up and did it.
Yeah. Well, and they're fantastic too.
Yeah, they were great kids.
I mean, Josh, I know, has been a big asset to Artbeat and an enthusiastic presence and always helping out.
Yeah, he is, and he really likes working with Devry, another producer here who does a show, Local Edition, seeing all the stuff that he's doing as well. So.
Good. But getting beyond those shows, beyond those shorts that you did in class and beyond Artbeat, you started branching out, doing more stuff on your own. One is family related because you've started taping a lot of concerts lately.
Correct, yeah. I volunteered when my son was at Roosevelt Middle School. I volunteered there to tape the choir concerts, and then that just kind of worked into the same thing at Blaine High School. Again, we have a really rich community here in terms of the choir and art and those kinds of things, and it was great to be able to put that on television.
Yeah.
So.
And what do you like most about? I mean, outside of sharing it with the community, like what do you like most about doing those projects? Like what's interesting about them? What's challenging?
Well, I was in. That was another thing I had done too. Growing up, I was in choir for a number of years as well, so I really enjoyed it and like seeing the kids participate in it. But challenge-wise, it is a completely different type of shoot. Things are much wider screen, and I find out I'm stumbling with the camera a little bit more in terms of the panning and all the rest of it too. But it's great to be able to share that and have the parents be enthusiastic about seeing their kids on TV.
Yeah. And the other thing that you're doing, the bigger project that is just about done, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
It ties into the other short we saw a couple minutes ago, the one at the airfield, because you're doing a show now, Exploring Aviation.
Yep. I'm doing a show on aviation just down the road from us. We have a great airport, the Blaine Airport, and I wound up over time too, after our karate adventures, getting my pilot's license. So I like to keep busy, and I wound up through the course of things. The instructor that I had, it turns out she's a first grade teacher.
Oh, okay.
And she's probably 5'2". I hope I'm not going to upset her that way or whatever. But so we've got this first grade teacher who's not Tom Cruise kind of thing, and she's just in there.
She's not a Top Gun.
She's not a Top Gun, but wow, is she a Top Gun in terms of a flight instructor? She's a great flight instructor. I let her take the controls, or she takes the controls, and I can see that the plane really maneuvers differently with someone who's got a lot of experience. And so I thought, that would be a great thing to bring as a story too. She's still a first grade teacher here in the community as well during the days, and then on the nights and weekends works as a flight instructor. And so I'm just enthusiastic about aviation and thought that would be a good thing to bring forward.
And this is a series that you're planning. You're hoping to do more of these.
Yeah. I've got 3 of them or so ready to go.
And what else can, I mean, that's a great story. But what else can we expect kind of from the show, and what you would like to do that maybe you haven't done yet?
Well, what I'm hoping to do, and it's all contingent upon what things you can tape at the airport, but the Civil Air Patrol is down there. They work with Homeland Security, finding planes that are missing and that kind of thing. The tower crew that's down there is an excellent group of people that man the towers and take care of all the traffic. There's aviation days coming up here in May that'll be coming up, and they basically show off all the vintage aircraft and jets and fighters and that kind of thing. And then I was hoping to get over to Key Air, as a new group that is located over there. They have a hangar on the north side of the airport. I think we had a visit from a politician. It might have been Sarah Palin. This last election time or whatever.
That sounds right.
And they had that at the hangar there at Key Air, and so I'd kind of like to see if I can get into their facility and just show that to people, and let people know that aviation is really available for everyone. So.
Well, that's great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing these. I know you're almost done.
Yeah.
We'll have them on the air soon. How has that experience been now, though, producing, not just producing your own show, but producing kind of a fairly complicated program, all by yourself now for the first time? What has that been like, as opposed to working kind of on stuff with people and on other people's stuff.
Well, again, it's a great learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did get a couple of super hosts who are flight instructors too to step up and do the hosting of the show. But you know, like you said, there's the scheduling of getting everyone, the talent and everyone lined up, and it really gives me much more of an idea of what a producer winds up having to go through.
Yeah.
So I get to play all those roles, and it's really been a cool thing.
Great. Well, and I've seen some of the stuff. It looks fantastic.
Good.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the whole show.
Good.
I think that's gonna be it for the interview. That's all I have for you.
We'll have to get you up in an airplane.
Yeah, we will. We will. I will put aside my general fear of heights.
Good.
And yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right. But thank you for coming on the show today, Rick.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. And let's take a look at Exploring Aviation.
All right.
All right. Flight school.
Tell me about the green system on an Airbus A320.
I don't
I'm
remember.
serious. I'm serious.
I don't remember.
So tell us.
It's all hydraulics.
Well, I know, but tell them about what we did, you know, with the whole DC-9 thing. Audience is interested.
So we did some training at, we could say, Northwest Airlines at the time.
Yep.
And I was interviewing for a position there, to be an instructor. And so I needed to go in and learn the whole green system on the A320
And the
hydraulics.
A320 is a big jet, right?
The A320 is a very, very large jet.
Okay.
And so this was just a small portion of, let's say, that system, which is many redundant systems on that aircraft.
Okay. So you had to learn the system and then pretend, or not pretend, but then you had to explain it as if you were instructing, because then Northwest could then evaluate you as an instructor. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
They were looking more at my instructing skills than, let's say, my expertise,
Okay.
which is understandable. That's the position I would have held there. So
you got to do a little flying.
I got to do a little flying as well. I trained in the DC-9 simulator and actually took off and managed to clear the tower and
So let
not crash.
Yeah. So I was playing the second person in the cockpit, the first officer. So this young lady was able to take off an Airbus A320. We were flying out of Milwaukee, right?
Yes.
And took off just as if, you know, because I used to fly in the DC-9 a lot in the back, and it felt just like a normal takeoff. We would turn around, come back and land, and she landed it just like a pro. So it was very fun.
I'd like to thank Rick again for joining us on this month's In Focus. I'd also like to thank our wonderful crew, who, as always, has been made up of students taking our free monthly How to Make a TV Show class. If you'd like to sign up for that or any of our other free classes, visit northmetrotv.com or call or email 763-231-2803 or eric@northmetrotv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next month on In Focus.